So you were playing as a Monkee for a while and
Yeah.
had a lot of fun with
Playing
it.
and working. And,
a lot of fame.
Oh yeah.
Was it a lot of
most.
dreams realized for you?
No. A lot of conjectures were realized.
Yeah.
not exactly.
What
dreams.
was realized for you? What was that time like for
What
you?
was realized? Well, I actually seem to have made and spent real money. Now that's a realization. You know that all that money as a realization. That's really something. It was very interesting because I thought, I'd heard all the stories, flash in the pan successes who make a lot of money and then they go down the tubes. I said, this isn't going to happen to me.
Not Peter Tork.
No, not me. But as a matter of fact, I did not learn how to save my money, and I didn't know how to spend it either. I mean, if I'd known how to spend it, at least I'd have had some more tangible results. The results I did have are almost entirely intangible. That is to say, there's a lot of people walking around who spent some very, very stoned times that they otherwise would not have spent, presumably. Although some of these people, I think, were professional finders of money, and suckers up of other people's well-being. And I certainly, basically the truth is that I had no serious, competent, concerned, involved professional money help.
Management.
Yeah, well, the management, I did have some management, but it either was not involved with me personally or did not stand to gain by my financial success. In other words, the management of the Monkees operation, the less money I made, the more they made, so that our financial interests were divergent. Of course, every penny they paid me came out of their pocket, right? Divergent, hell. They and the people who had financial interests, whose financial interests paralleled mine, that is, my money managers, did not have any understanding of my professional situation. They were a good and a competent crew, and I don't have too much to say against them, except that they did not know how to cope with the flash-in-the-pan type of success. They were accustomed to dealing with people who had made their money long and slow and hard over the long haul.
Yeah.
And
well, tell me some
light at the end of the hall with
some of the intangibles that you glommed from this time.
Well,
great experience.
I had some great fun. I did make an awful lot of records on my own account, which I never would have gotten a chance to do. They just said, go ahead into the studio, and I didn't even know I was paying for it at the time, but afterwards I found out, but I had that experience. Now I know how to produce a record. At least I know how to produce a record as of then, and production has not changed all that much since 8-track. I mean, there's a lot more difference between 4-track and 8-track than between 8-track and 32-track, surprisingly enough, at least in my judgment.
Where are you now, Peter?
Is this Tuesday? It must be Santa Monica.
It is.